But
I got it.
welcome everybody to the League Bound podcast. It is week 12. Thanksgiving is on the horizon, and we are ready for family, food, and football. Let's be honest, I got that mixed up. It's really food, family, food, football, food, family, however you want to say it. But it
The
is
big three F words right there. One more
absolutely.
and we could
And
have the whole cover.
oh man, I didn't even get to introduce my esteemed guest. No, you're good. My esteemed guest from Milk and Cookies himself, the milk of the program, as seen by what he's currently drinking. Got Milk is not a sponsor, but Avery Greenberg, welcome back to the League Bound podcast. How you doing, my friend? We already talked about it, but you can tell everyone else how you doing.
Pleasure to be here. I'm doing great. Excited to not have to go to work tomorrow and ready to eat some food.
Bro, so excited not to go to work tomorrow. It's not even funny how, I mean, I'm not even waking up that much later. Just, waking up a little bit later, going to a later prayer service, davening, however you want to say it. And just being able to sleep in and be able to play some football tomorrow morning, hopefully a little bit, throw
Where are
around.
you playing football?
I don't know. I have it in my head that I'm gonna like play somewhere.
I heard in Jersey they're getting a 10 o'clock game.
I'm sure they always do.
Yeah,
Love to play, but I'm
too
not.
far.
But maybe just to throw around a little bit, play a little two-hand touch. To me, that would be a win. Um,
I wouldn't go around telling people that, bro.
I'm not allowed to play. I'm not allowed to play football, bro. The too many concussions. It's just not allowed.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah,
That
unfortunately.
sucks.
But yeah, we have some fun stuff coming up on the program today. Well, not such fun stuff is going to be the first topic we talk about in our news and injury stuff, because the NFL decided that today was going to be all the quarterback news in the world, just like it was in the offseason. Just this time, new starters, players that are not going to be playing. And yeah, so let's dive right in. Although I do want to just ask you, favorite food on Thanksgiving? Because I'm a big turkey guy, and my mother-in-law's stuffing is now my favorite Thanksgiving food ever.
So, in years past, the family has gone out to Essen. So I actually usually get a burger. So that's my Thanksgiving meal.
All right. I thought you were gonna go with like the Jewish Christmas meal, which is like Chinese. But yeah, no, I hear you.
No, we like Chinese all year round, not just for
Abs-
Thanksgiving.
Absolutely, man. Okie dokie. Let's get right into it. My New York Jets made a switch at quarterback. The Patriots week did not go as me and Moshe Morales had planned. We scored 3 points, and we went to Mike White today. Coach Robert Saleh made the decision to sit down the young lad who needs to grow up and get his footwork back in order, get all his fundamentals back, and grow up a little bit. And I think that he already is on his way to doing that with all the with the post benching remarks, and as well as having some accountability finally being taken. But yeah, we went from Zach Wilson to Mike White. Quick fantasy implications. Mike Carter's going to have a great game because Mike White loves himself some running backs to throw the ball to. And in the short term, Garrett Wilson definitely also with a little bit of a uptick. What's the Giant fan perspective on this?
I think that they're both crap, and I think that none of the running backs are going to do well. And I think that Zach Wilson has to get his stuff together because I think he is better than Mike White.
Okay. Do you think that I mean, I don't have them in the games that we're going to be discussing a little bit later. But what's your feel on the Jets versus Chicago Bears matchup?
I don't know. I'm gonna go with Chicago though, because I don't trust Mike White. I think he's trash.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I don't think he can throw the ball. But I never think anybody can throw the ball, so that's just me.
Okay. All right. Speaking of people that can't throw the ball, so we'll move on from that a little bit. Obviously, there's a lot more to dive into, but everybody got all their Jets talk last week on the podcast when me and Marilis were doing it. So we're gonna move right along to trash Davis Mills got benched for Kyle Allen. Davis Mills is awful. Washington defense was a huge what's it called? A huge streamer last week. And on red zone, the first touchdown in the entire day was a pick six by the Washington defense. And
Yes, it was.
everybody who played them was extremely satisfied because Davis Mills is trash. And now Kyle Allen, who's not that much better, gets to try his hand at supporting Nico Collins and Brandon Cooks. And do we actually think that that's going to be anything, or because they're playing the Dolphins this week, whose defense isn't that good? But
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I just think that the Dolphins are going to go up big quick, so they're going to have to be throwing, and I don't know if I trust them throwing the ball with either quarterback at down.
no, I
I
definitely
feel so negative right now.
no, you're good. Here we can talk about something a little positive. Taylor Heineke, who hyper targets everyone's favorite everyone's favorite wide receiver, Terry McLaurin, at least one of my favorites because he's very good at football. And Carson Wentz isn't going to play, so that's great for everybody involved. Even though he's been activated from the IR and is going to be in his practice window. But Taylor Heineke has been winning ball games for the Commanders, and I just think that it's very when coaches such as Riverboat Ron stick to someone not because of their either draft capital, their paycheck or anything like that, but they just play the guy that's either winning games, or B, just performing better on the field. You have to respect it for sure.
No, I agree. I like to stick with Heineke. I think Heineke can turn into better than he is. I don't know if he's really a star at quarterback. I think maybe his ceiling may be right below star, so maybe like serviceable quarterback. But I think Carson Wentz is not a better option for the Commanders right now. So I like to stick.
Okay. We got a lot of different injury news. Honestly, I actually just even saw that Aaron Jones is going to be was limited today. But someone that you guys have on your team or had on your team, Mike Williams, that big
Yeah,
turn last week, and then he got hurt on the only catch.
yeah, it's definitely tough. It's not easy. He is boomer bust Mike, right? And he's been pretty bust. So Loki sucks. But we're gonna win this year anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Well, if you want to just check something out, I had literally just traded for him in
Ooh,
a
that sucks.
I don't even remember which league, but I had just traded for him along with another player that I just can't think of for whatever reason. I was looking for it, but it's all good. And I actually pivoted onto him because it was after the news he was coming back. I thought, oh, okay, he's gonna have a little bit of value. He's gonna be doing well, and then he just gets hurt. But on the flip side, that leaves us to Mr. Joshua Palmer, who had an unbelievable game. I think it had a little bit to do with the fact that also Gerald Everett was also out, but he had himself a ball game. That dude was flying down the field. Justin Herbert looked like Justin Herbert again. And it was definitely enjoyable to watch that Sunday night game because, oh, a primetime game is allowed to be good.
Yes, believe it or not. Um, no, I definitely hear. I think I would love to see the Chargers, like in Justin Herbert, go gunslinger again. I feel like we haven't really seen that this season so far. So I would love if he got his weapons back, right? Like Keenan Allen also, not just Mike Williams.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that's just, it's luck of the draw. I feel like it's what are you going to do if the guy gets hurt? Can't stay healthy.
Absolutely. And to what you were saying, they've been dumping it off to Austin Eckler a lot. I mean, you love it if you're an Austin Eckler manager, but at the same time, 5-6 yards down the field, death by 1,000 paper cuts ain't gonna work every single time. And sometimes you need to put the ball in, push the ball down the field in order to make some big plays, and that's finally what they had on Sunday night. But we all knew when 15 got the ball back, he was gonna drive them down the field and win the Chiefs the game because that's what he does.
Yes, he does.
And speaking of that team, the Chiefs, Clyde Edwards-Helaire going on IR. We had who else? We had the 2 drops of the week, which were hilarious. And I think that in all fantasy categories, you can drop both of these players. Melvin Gordon getting waived, Darrell Henderson getting waived. 2 people that were late round picks that might have some value, that maybe can play, and are the safe option if there's an injury ahead. Both teams, the Rams and the Broncos, both having terrible years, I may add, said these guys are so bad on our bad team that we can't have them anymore. So if they don't want them on their team, I don't want them on my team if I'm a fantasy manager at all. And goodbye to those 2. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okie dokie.
Yeah. All right, we can move on.
Yeah, no, I just want to
Justin Fields.
Yeah, that's the one because that's why I was a little bit shocked that you said the Bears were going to beat the Jets because of it's not only Justin Fields' AC joint that's the issue. He also had hamstring problems and he wasn't as mobile in the second half of the game on Sunday. So, I mean, against a very stout Jets defense, I was a little shocked that you were so cavalier in saying that the Bears were going to, take the W.
Well, it's easy to say the Jets are going to lose. So,
really, considering that they've won more games than they lost this season.
Want to put $5 on it?
Oh, again, we're going to do this. I mean, the Jets are getting are putting a 5.5 on them. I think I'm going to take that bet real quick.
Yeah. All right. Good deal.
Handshake. Yes, sir. Okay. Go Jets. Anyway. And then just one last piece of news. Matthew Stafford's going to be out, so they're starting Pickens, whatever. What is his name? George. I don't even remember his name. Perkins. They're going to get rocked by the Chiefs. Oh, my God. That is going to be a disaster.
Yes.
If anyone wants to pick up the Chiefs defense, that is a very good play because the Rams have no offensive line. They don't have a quarterback. And Allen Robinson, basically even Tyler Higbee at this point is probably not startable because all their players are just, not usable. Okay, Let's get into the fun stuff. We have Thanksgiving football, Thursday football. We got 3 games. Obviously, we got the Lions in 12 o'clock window, 12:30 window. We got the Cowboys in as America's team playing against New York's squad, the New York Giants, the G-Men. And then we have the night came where, well, is Kirk Cousins going to stay upright? And it's going to be the Vikings versus the Patriots. We got 3 solid games. Happens to be that the Lions, even though they're not 500, it's one of the cooler slates because 2 out of the 3 games have both teams as over 500. The Lions are on a 3-game winning streak. So, I mean, there's a lot of good football being played by these 6 teams, and it's a lot of, fantasy implications galore. So, I think what we're going to do is we're going to go 1 game at a time and break it down a little bit. So, Bills and Lions. Okay. The Bills on the road having laying 9.5 to a surging Lions team who has an absolutely great offensive line, who have been scoring points outside of the game against the Patriots, where they got shut out, and outside of the game against the Cowboys, where they, I think, scored less than 10 points, they've been really good on offense. And the Bills have been struggling on defense recently. So I I think you see that is indicative of the 54.5 over under. And I just feel like, we like what we see in this game. Now, here's the real question. If you have an Amon-Ra St. Brown or let's say a Gabe Davis, obviously Amon-Ra has been consistent as anything. He's been playing very well. But do you have, let's say, even more confidence, even though Gabe Davis is boom and bust, where you would even think, let's say you have a two receiver league or anything like that, you would start like a Gabe Davis over an Amon-Ra, or like, where's
obviously
at with all these
it
guys?
depends obviously with like what else you have on the team. If you could take that risk, obviously it's risk reward. So if you need a floor guy because you don't have any super high hitters, Amon-Ra is probably the guy to go with because he's safer.
Right.
But if you think you can compete, or if you think you have no chance, that's where the boomer bust guy may come and he'll put you over the hump.
Gabe Davis is obviously,
yeah.
Josh Allen targets are a lot more valuable than Jared Goff.
Exactly, because for all you know, 3 catches and Gabe Davis is 150 yards and 2 touchdowns, which we've seen.
No, you're 100% right. I mean, he's the only guy in the NFL that has a 90-yard touchdown catch. So you're 100% right. Funny because
I would probably go Gabe Davis in that spot though.
Really, I was gonna go with Amon-Ra. Like a lot of people have, like I've seen both of them in top 15s on the week and like rankings and whatever. But like to me, I just feel that having Amon-Ra have his targets so so secure. I feel that he is the safer play, but also in a game that has such a high over under. And I believe that the Lions implied team total in this game still is a healthy what? I can't do quick math right now. What's it called? We're gonna look this up. No. Total points. You only just find Lions total points is 1.5, which is solid. I mean, which is solid. Even as a 9-point underdog, that's still crazy.
Yes.
I mean, the crazier part is that they have that the Bills have 31.5, but as their team implied total. Here's where I like this game. I think Devin Singletary is going to have a solid. I think here's my take on this game, and I was telling my friend Jeremy Solomon earlier in this game. I think this is going to be a one-possession game. The Bills' defense has not been as dominant as we saw early on in the season, where they had a huge pass rush where they were shutting down the run and the pass. They've been giving up a lot of yards recently on the ground. They've been giving up a lot of yards through the air. I mean, they gave up 30 plus points to the Minnesota Vikings, and I mean, you can make the argument that the Lions have just as, if not, I mean, they don't have as explosive playmakers, but they have just as explosive an offense as the Minnesota Vikings. And yeah, Jamal Williams versus DeAndre Swift. Now here's where it's a problem, because obviously I traded for DeAndre Swift. That's a further down the line trade where hopefully I get the upside from next year. But DeAndre Swift is obviously the more talented player. But damn, do the Lions love themselves Jamal Williams.
Well, he punches it in the end zone, so
that he has a nose for the end zone like a dog sniffing butts. Like, it is nuts, bro. I don't know why I just used that analogy, but that's what came to my mind. But no, he has been, I believe he's a top, what is he this year? I think he's a top 7 back in fantasy, which is pretty
really
remarkable when you think of it, because he was an afterthought in draft season. everyone thought, oh, DeAndre Swift's going to take this backfield. He's going to be great. And who like, okay, yeah, maybe on Hard Knocks we were able to see that they really like Jamal Williams, and he's okay. So he's the RB10 on the year,
Wow.
which is, I mean, pretty remarkable. Another remarkable thing, and we'll get to it later, is Tony Pollard's RB.
Is who?
Tony Pollard is
I can't see the. Oh, I can't.
RB8. Yes,
Wow, yeah, it's crazy.
you're on your phone, so that's what happens.
Yeah, might be.
No, you're good, bro. No, all worries. No worries.
You know what it was? I zoomed in on the phone. And I didn't
Uh-huh.
have the full picture, so I'm like, why am I only getting half screen? I feel stupid
Yeah,
now.
no, you're good, man. But no,
It looks like a lot of these teams are doing the committee though, the running back by committee. I feel like I've seen that
right.
a lot more this year than I have in the past.
No, for sure. I mean, even the Bills also with James Cook. I mean, they traded
Yeah.
Naeem Hines, but they're not using him for whatever reason. Um, right? They traded for Naeem. Yeah. So what's your take on this game? Because I have this as a here's how I see this game going. It's a back and forth affair. There's going to be a lot of points. I feel that they're going to be it's going to be a one possession game. Jared Goff, that the Bills are going to be up. Jared Goff is going to have the ball back with about 3 minutes, something in that range, having a chance to drive them down the field. He's going to drive them to probably about the 30, 40-yard line and then throw a pick, and the game's going to be over. But it's going to
Okay, so
be a game, and that the Lions are going to cover.
I agree with most. I think it's going to go back and forth. I think in the third quarter, the Bills are going to go up by 2 scores, and then I think they're never going to look back. Like going into the fourth quarter, I think they're going to score the
So you would
second.
say that they would
I say they cover.
yeah, you would take the points on this. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I say they cover.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I like the way you're thinking on that. I definitely hear the thought process. I mean, there's the Bills at this. I mean, if
Yeah.
they now shoot out anybody, it's them. So yeah. And is Josh Allen gonna be bounce back? We think he's gonna bounce back after the tough performance last week.
So I think he does, and I think it'll be a good game for him. Prime time as well. Like I think he's going to enjoy in it. But my whole basis is because I thought he was what? What do you looking at?
My mind just got blown. So Josh
Why?
obviously has been unbelievable the entire season, right?
Yeah.
QB1. But then I just looked at this, and he's not QB1 on the season because of this week. Mahomes?
Well, yeah, well, it's a beast. So what do you want him to do?
No, that's just like to me. That's very shocking. Like Mahomes is averaging a point more than a point more per game than him. He has 12 points more on the season, and I'm just like, whoa. I mean,
Yeah, well, I mean, it was only a matter of time until he got, situated with his new receivers.
no,
Right now,
absolutely. I mean, if you look at this, the last 3 weeks, oh no, the last 3 weeks, he's the what's a QB2 each of these last 3 weeks because Justin Fields exists. Um, it's just crazy to think that like we always think of Josh Allen so far and above everybody, but like in reality, Mahomes is the QB1.
yeah,
No, that's crazy. Okay. Well, I think we've hit on everything in that game. So let's go to your New York Giants versus the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas at home is laying 10. Now this line was at 7.5 before the Giants played on Sunday, and the Cowboys played against basically themselves on Sunday because the Vikings didn't show up. And it's ballooned 2.5 points all the way to 10. Another big spread that we're seeing, and I can't blame the sports books because the Giants with their lack of ability to put up points, their secondary being a little bit in flux without Xavier McKinney, without now Adoree Jackson, and just not being able to. The thought is they're not going to be able to keep up with the Cowboys. So, the to me, fantasy wise, the only,
Yes. Sorry about that.
go
Yeah, I'm
ahead,
listening.
go ahead, you good?
No, no. What was your question? Repeat the question.
No, it wasn't a good. I wasn't really a question. I was kind of just setting everything up a little bit. But you
Yeah, it's great. I don't love it. If we're talking about the Giants Cowboys, I don't love it. I feel like the Giants have nobody, and I think it's going to be a terrible game. We'll pull it out because we're the Giants, but it's going to be tough.
yeah. First of all, you're gonna say
No,
they're covering 10.
no.
No, you think it's gonna be a train wreck?
I think it's going to be such a train wreck.
Oh man, yeah.
Oh my god, I think it's going to be terrible.
Do you think Darius Slayton is worth a flex option in anybody in in anyone's lineups? Obviously,
I
like, do you think he's a top 24 wide receiver? Keep in mind there are no buys this week, and
no.
all
I
32 teams are playing.
Darius Slayton is going to go for two for 17 tomorrow. All right, 2 for 17.
So the only player you would play on the Giants is Saquon.
Saquon.
So,
Yeah, and it's not even close. I wouldn't touch nobody.
all right, okay, I hear that. Now, what about the Cowboys? You think that you can start possibly a Pollard and Zeke? I think that the only player you could start is Pollard. I don't think Zeke's fallen in the end zone this year. This week. Um,
That would be great if he didn't.
no.
Um, I agree. I think that you'll be able to start Dak though. I think Dak is going to be able to be startable this week.
Oh, that's good because my
Unfortunately,
squad hasn't.
yeah, well, not too worried about that.
Nah, you shouldn't have been. Oh man, not mention the fact that you guys beat me also last week, and it was tough because Kittle wasn't doing anything, and then the Arizona defense had negative points, and all I needed was Trey McBride to like get like 2 yard, like a catch for 6 yards, or like something like it was not, and then Kittle had the 30-yard touchdown, and I was done.
Yes, I remember that was a very happy time for me.
Uh-huh. Sure. I'm sure you and John were celebrating very nicely. But yeah, so we are not going to be starting Michael Gallup in this game. I think it's going to be a CeeDee Lamb game. I think that we have what we have in Tony Pollard is going to be good. But I think that the Cowboys defense is going to end up with a score somehow. And I think that it's going to negatively affect the fantasy options on the Cowboys. But I think that again, I also believe that the Cowboys are going to cover this 10, even though I want the Giants to do well. But I mean, I don't see them even getting to their team implied total of what is it? They're 25, 15 and a half, I think is their team implied total or something. Maybe it's 16. Um, if we can get totals. Okay, we have that. Yes. All right. We have the Giants are alternate points. Yeah. See, this is what happens when we try to be a little bit cool and go to 16 and a half. There's I would put it at the juice of one minus 128 of saying that the Giants are most likely not like that makes sense. The under is enticing because it's plus money. I would take the under, honestly. 16 and a half. I don't see the Giants getting 3 scores total. Like putting the ball. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It
It's gonna
sounds
be an ugly game.
you want to be able to like root for your squad on Thanksgiving and have a W and just like it's just not looking good.
I can't wait until the Giants pull it out, though. So excited.
It would be nice if they did pull it out, obviously, but
Yeah.
they're definitely climbing an uphill battle.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that statement.
Okay. So now let's go to what I think is going to be a lot better of a game than people are giving credit for. Because everyone is worried about which is the Vikings and the Patriots. The Vikings 2.5 point favorites at home against New England. And what we saw last week with the Vikings was extremely not fun. And what we saw with the Patriots last week was also extremely not fun when it comes to offense because these teams put up a total of 6 points on offense this past week. And that's indicative of the over under being 42 and a half. And I just feel that the Vikings are getting too much, like the pendulum has swung so far to the they're not as good as their record, and this was fool's gold and all that. And I think the Patriots defense is getting, while it's very good, steamed up a little bit more than it already is, even though they are a top 10 defense. But I do think that the Vikings are gonna put points on the board, and the Patriots are with the Vikings not having as good of a defense. Also, I think the Patriots are gonna actually put up some points too.
31-10 Minnesota wins.
Oh wow! So that would
That's my call.
be, that would go to the under 8. But that's 31-10. Okay. Well then, so that would mean that you would definitely be starting your Dalvin Cook, your Justin Jefferson.
Yep.
What do we feel about Adam Thielen in that situation, and TJ Hawkinson, who's been lights out,
Yeah.
joining
Hawkinson over Thielen.
even in just like a flex option of either of them.
Yeah, maybe I guess. I don't know if I would start the Hawkinson tight end, but in flex, but maybe I don't know.
I
Gotta check
think he's
options.
gotten 7 targets in each of the every game that he's been
Oh, really? That many?
on Detroit. Let me just look that up very quickly. I think that that's like why I'm so interested, because he has like what's it called? They didn't know how to use him in Detroit,
Detroit.
and like yeah, see 9, 10, yeah, 9, 10, 9 targets.
So yeah, you can start him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel that
I was
he's gonna.
mistaken.
I think that he's definitely someone that you can like consider as a two tight end. Like you have let's say somehow you have a Kelsey and then or an Andrews who might play this week. Um, and then you also have a Hawkinson. Maybe you got him in a trade. Like I can see him he has such a high floor that I feel like he's a vet for certain rosters. He's definitely someone that you can put in that flex and be definitely not sad and if he gets 7, 8 targets and catches some and goes for 6 for 80 and then and gets a touchdown with that also, you're gonna be very happy with your fantasy day. So that's just
Yes, I agree with you. No,
and
no,
then
I
on
agree with you.
and then on the other side of the ball we got two guys you can play. Ramondre Stevenson and Jacoby Myers. Who? That's it. There's no one else. Ramondre has been an absolute beast, taking the RB1 role from Damian Harris when he got hurt and hasn't looked back. I believe that he is the Ramondre. How do you spell Steve? Let's go with Stevenson.
Yeah, I think Myers actually gets a touchdown this week.
Oh, that would be nice. That's actually plus 240 if I remember correctly. And I was actually looking at it plus 230 right now. I was looking at it as a possible,
maybe
put
actually.
some shekels on. And yeah, so who do you have? Yeah, so you have them 31-10 Vikings. I also have the Vikings in the game. I think it's going to be a little bit more of a 27-20 type of game where there's going to be some more points than people think, but not like a crazy game. But I think that there are going to be a few scores. Obviously, it's in a dome, so Nick Folk isn't going to miss a couple of field goals.
Terrible.
Take a couple of field goals. And yeah, so also Damian Harris. I mean, he's not droppable, but you definitely have to roster him. But I mean, for someone that you probably spent what a 5th, 6th round pick, he's definitely not what you wanted. As far as the production on the field, and yeah, so we got Vikings, Cowboys, and then who did we say? And then we differ a little bit on the Bills Lions game. Both think that the Bills are going to win, but we have the differing opinions on what that last couple possessions are going to look like. Okay, well, we'll get into there are only 2 good games in the entire what's called in the entire slate on Sunday. But first, let's take a quick break.